Quick one before we get started. I'm hosting a CEO bootcamp on April 16th. Click the link in the show note and join us. It's 1 hour. It's me and Shaan Puri. We're going to go over delegation. We're going to go over hiring. We're going to go over planning, and we're going to go over the things you need to be doing to grow your business. Don't miss it. Link in the show note, April 16th, CEO bootcamp. It is free.
There's a big problem with entrepreneurship. I make it sound so easy. I'm a big promoter of entrepreneurship. But the biggest problem with entrepreneurship is something that very few people talk about. Everybody starts a business because they want to build something. They want to serve customers. They want to add value. They want to make money. They want to build make a better life for themselves. I'm no different. Those are the reasons why I started a business. But there's a big problem with entrepreneurship, and that is if you're not willing to wait a long time and work really hard for something now that maybe will pay you back a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5, 10 years from now, then you are not willing, then it's going to be very hard for you to make the decision. We live in a world where there's instant gratification, right? If I walk to the fridge, open it up, and grab a beer and pop the top and drink it, from the time I decided that I wanted that beer and did the work to get to the fridge and open the beer, to the time I tasted the sweet beer and got the buzz from the beer, is minutes. We're talking minutes. It's the same thing in many aspects of life, that the gratification is instant. And if you go get a job, 2 weeks later, you're going to get paid. And 2 weeks after that, you're going to get paid. And 2 weeks after that, you're going to get paid. And you're going to start to take your pay stubs to the bank and say, hey, I want to buy a new car. I want to buy a house. I want to buy a boat. And they'll look at your pay stubs and they will let you borrow money to do those things. And you'll be able to get instant gratification right then. Just like that. But entrepreneurship is not like that. Entrepreneurship isn't like that at all. From the time you think about starting a business to the time it gets really fun and to the time you have the lifestyle that you want, minimum 3 years. Much less, obviously, to replace your income, but you're still working a lot. You're still dealing with a lot of stress. I'd say the rewards outweigh the cost of entrepreneurship at about the 3-year point. 1,000 days or so. The Tropical MBA podcast guys, Dan and Ian, talk about the 1,000-day rule a lot. And I feel very passionately that that's something that holds most people back from entrepreneurship, because Americans, we're not willing to do work for something that's going to pay us back 3 years from now, 5 years from now. It's why people are having less children. Children are a ton of work, but I'm not doing it for the joy of changing poopy diapers and listening to screaming kids in the night. I'm doing it because my 50-year-old self will really thank me for having kids, and I'm going to be able to enjoy a lot of amazing things in life with my children later on. Same thing goes with entrepreneurship. If you start a business now, you're going to reap the rewards 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years ago. I started my business. I was very excited about my business almost exactly 10 years ago. And when you think about gratification and getting what you want, how you want it, and the rewards from that, that's a really long time to wait, that a lot of people aren't willing or able to wait that long. So it's just something to think about. But that's something that I think that's holding so many people back from entrepreneurship, is that you're not going to see the fun, the 30-hour work weeks, the golf country club memberships, the money in the bank account. You're not going to see that stuff for a really long time. My story's similar. I mean, we started our business in college, got excited about it. First 3 years, we didn't have any real money. We invested it all right back into the business. Year 4 or 5, we still kept reinvesting it back into the business. At year 6 is when we took our big chunk of cash that we had made from the business and invested it again in self-storage. And now 10 years later, we finally have a chunk of cash sitting in the bank account that is life-changing, and none of our friends will probably ever accomplish that. It takes a very long time. And just like weight loss takes a long time, just like healthy lifestyle takes a long time, these things that we do in life that matter, all the things that matter, they pay you back much later. Another thing is the difference right along this line of delayed gratification is the difference between money and value. people who work a job, Friday comes around and they get money. They add value to the company and they get paid right then. They add value to the company, they get paid right then. Value, pay, value, pay, value, pay. An entrepreneur, there's a lot of value that's not yet money. When you start a business, when we started Storage Squad, we made, let's say year 3, by year 3, we were making $100,000 a year each, but that wasn't a sum of really the value that was there and what we knew the business was worth. So the money that was coming into our checking account was not the same as the value that we were adding to the world. And we were building a business that later, 3 years later, would be able to make us $300,000 a year instead of $1. And there's a lot of value in that asset. The fact that we owned a business that's worth something, that we might try to sell someday, that we could hardly work at all, and it still put money into our checking account every year. And there's value in that. So when you're early on and you're building a business, you're building a brand, you're building something worth having, it's very rarely equal to the amount of cash in your checking account. So you have to be able to see that. Entrepreneurs are very good at seeing that what they're doing, the value they're adding to the world, is not necessarily perfectly correlated with the amount of money in their checking account right now. They're doing a lot of things that add value to the business 3 years from now, 5 years from now. A really good example, this is our self-storage facility. We built that thing in 2016, opened the doors in 2017. We put $500,000 of our own money into that project, knowing that the value we were adding, building that facility, operating that facility, filling it up, the value that we were adding wasn't going to really show itself for 3 years. So the work we were doing in 2016 to get that facility permitted, to get the money raised, to get it built, to open the doors for a 50,000 square foot facility and start leasing units, the work that we were doing did not pay itself back until 2019 in November, when we did our cash out refinance and got $2 million put on our checking account. That is what I'm talking about. That's the definition of value and money not being equal for a really long time, and then boom, it happens and you have some money that from that value that you created 3 or 4 years ago. And that's what's spectacular about entrepreneurship. If I worked for a company, unless I have some shares that are vested and it's a startup company, very, very, very rarely is the reward of the work I'm doing 3 to 4 to 5 years from now equal to my pay now. Okay, say you work for a self-storage facility, a self-storage developer like myself, and you were on site getting paid to build that self-storage facility. I'm paying you your $70,000 a year every 2 weeks, but you're building an asset that's going to pay me back for 10 years as an entrepreneur. So as an entrepreneur, you're in a very unique situation where that delayed gratification, that value, you get to reap the rewards later. And that's what's spectacular about entrepreneurship, but that's also the biggest problem with entrepreneurship, because so many people are not willing to wait. So many people want to have instant gratification. They get paid, they go spend, they consume, they buy, they do whatever makes them feel best in the moment. And it's really the key to success in life, is being able to delay that gratification and work really hard for something that you're not going to see right away. So just think about that. Think about where that might be, what you might be able to do with some of your time and money as far as investing or doing whatever to actually reap some value and reap some reward down the road. And I'm here, I'm talking to you because I believe the best way to do that is through a sweaty startup, a small service business that if you start putting sweat equity into now, there's going to be a lot of value there. It's going to change your life 3 years later. So keep it in mind and get out there and do something.
Hey guys, I have big news. I recently revamped my sales and customer service team at my self-storage company using folks in South Africa. Listen to this English accent.
Hi there, my name is Anton and I'm a sales professional from Gqeberha or Port Elizabeth, which is in the eastern province of South Africa. I've been in sales for about 8 years now, with experience in hardware sales with some of the leading brands in the world, such as Canon, Panasonic, and more recently Red Bull.
Okay, now the surprising part. The person you just listened to is available for hire right now, and they're asking $9 an hour. If you want an introduction, if you want to hire this person into your business or at least interview them, send me an email, nick@sweatystartup.com, and I can make an introduction and offer you $1,000 off the recruiting fee. nick@sweatystartup.com.